What's up, everybody? It's your boy VE to the double L E, and I'm back here with another deck profile. You see what it is. I won first place yesterday and got a box of Tactical Masters. I didn't pull anything great. 3 Ultras. But I got, like, the penny stocks, a place that of Drolls, Cosmics, and all that. So, not a terrible box. But y'all just want to know what I played. And I played my babies. I brought them back. I played Tearalment Orcust today. Yesterday. So I'm gonna get into the list. 60 cards, obviously. Only a 14 card side deck. It didn't really come up. This deck is insane. I only had one draw with Despia because I didn't have enough time to push for a game. But it happens. I played Marensis in the final somehow, and then took it over from there. So let's get into the list. We'll talk about it a little bit. Also, for the Orcust half, we got 1 Bombard, 2 Girsu, 2 Skellies, 2 Nightmare, 1/1, and 2 Gizmek, the honorary. Also, the honorary starter here is Greffer. The reason why there's so many 2 ofs, no 3 ofs, you could argue to play a 3rd Girsu, but you really want to limit the amount of normal summons. You could even go up to a 3rd Bombard if you really want to, because there's so many ways to get it out of your hand. I mean, not Bombard, but a 3rd Nightmare. So many ways to get it out of your hand. Then we got the tier package. I'm a big fan of 2s there. 2 Rhino Hearts. 3, she's the best one, especially in this strategy, because she sends the monster from hand and mills 3. So if you have Bombard plus Girsu in hand with this, it's full combo. And then, obviously the stuff she does with tier. 2 Merly for the Milo 8 combo. 2 Halfness. Halfness also has dual purposes in this deck, and we'll get into that when we get to the extra deck. My list played 2 King of the Swamps to search Poly and Fusion Substitute, which is important in this list again. And of course, we played Dangers because Orcust and Dangers go hand in hand. So 3 Nessie, 3 Moth. I think the 2 of those are required. The guaranteed summons, and then 2 Bigfoot. The pop effect doesn't come up, or didn't come up. And then Chupacabra. But him being a level 8 from Chupacabra can come up to summon Ding. Then the best cards to mill. 2 Beast, 2 Gokipos, which searches your guy. Also really good with Shriner, or whatever her name is. And then Fairy Tale Snow. This card is probably going to get banned again because it's insane. Then we get to the spell cards. So we played 4 field spells. Terraforming to search either 2 of our field spells or the Babel. We almost never search Babel, but we did set it from Galatea quite a few times. We played Call By, Poly, Fusion Sub. An argument can be made to play multiple Fusion Subs because the deck to combo doesn't play many outs to Mystic Mind, but field spell plus this does it, so you don't have to really worry about it. 3 Dark Ruler, because right now that card's really great. 2 Pot of Desires. We play 60 cards, also it's important, so we play Zeroboros. There was only 1 Super Poly. I was trying some other stuff out, but this will probably go back up to 2 or 3. The FTK combo. We played 2 Foolish Burial Goods to dump either Crescendo or the Schleck. So we'll get into the traps. Just 1 Dynamiscus, this is coming out. 2 Crescendo and 2 of the trap. So because we played Desires, we didn't want to play 3. Especially because 3 can be cloggy. A lot of Orcust lists, you'll see me play 3 because I always run out. In this deck, you only, as long as you can set 1 Crescendo. So if you mill or you don't combo, and you keep 1 Crescendo, it's fine. But you play Babel, so even if you miss Crescendo, you just change the lineup. But these cards are absolutely insane. Meta Noise, you can argue to play Meta Noise, but to be honest, once you set your board up, you don't really care about fusing on your opponent's turn. It happens from time to time with the Time Thief Redoer setup, but most of the time I didn't have to do that. I was just stone cold comboing. I'm going to show the side first, and then we'll talk about the extra a little bit. So it was only 14 cards, and this Storms, Evenly, TC Boo. I don't know why people aren't playing this card. This card is toxic, and your deck can play it. Eradicator and Deck Devi. This is how we deal with the birds and how we deal with Mystic Mind decks. Exo Sister, also Exo Sister, and we sided the Galaxy Cyclone, but it didn't really need to come in. And you can throw any cards you want to in at that last slot. Let's get to the extra deck. We'll talk about it a little bit. So we'll just do it by types. So we have one Ding, one Time Thief. Even if you play no tier cards, these cards are just standard in most Orcust lists. And Ding is really powerful because a lot of times we can just combo off. We can combo with the make the Ding, and then Ding Time Thief is crazy. 2 Galatea, because it's part of your combo, you really need to. I tried one and there was too many situations where I need to make a second one. Dark, unless you link climb, that's pretty much it, but you don't really go very far. Curious, because this card's broken. It's been broken for a while. And then 2 Orcust staples for decks are 1 Bomber Dragon and 1 Zeroboros. Zeroboros won me probably about 80% of my matches because I was just playing through interruptions, just because Splight can't stop this deck. So you don't have to worry about it. Even if they end on Toad with 2 negates and the Smashers, you have way too much gas. And even then, you can go into your battle phase, clear a lot of their board up, and then anything left, you just Zeroboros banish. So their follow-up is going to be trash, or you can just Bomber and nuke the field, and then on your opponent's turn, you could trigger this like 6 or 7 times. And I'll talk about that here in a little bit. The Fusions, Winda is coming out. I didn't make it once. These guys are integral. 1 Kaleido Heart and 1 Kikalos. I see people talking about playing multiple Kikalos, but you don't really need it. In your standard, when you make the Draco Stapelier, oftentimes you're just shuffling back this. And then I played Guardian Chimera as my 15th card. Because Guardian Chimera is crazy, and I don't know why people aren't doing anything about it. But if you have tier monsters in hand, there was a game where I made Chimera, and then I had tier effects, and so I ended up summoning like Kaleido Heart after I popped. So I popped a card on field. I popped 2 cards on field. Was it 2 cards on field? Either way, I popped either a card or 2 cards on field, and then I shuffled back whatever was remaining. So my opponent had to play through that, and then we just after the combo was done, we just used these guys as material, and then ended on Bomber, Crescendo, Babel. Our hand was kind of cracked, but Guardian Chimera definitely enables a lot of that, and it keeps it where your tier cards aren't just dead. Like I said, Winda just never came up because the deck is so much gas. I didn't really think about it. And just real quick, I'm not going to do a full combo video or anything right now. If you guys want that, then I'll make one later. But I'm just going to show you potentially how many times you can trigger Bomber just through your basic combo. So oftentimes we'll end, if we're going Bomber combo, we're ending with Babel. And so you have your interruptions where you bring your monster back with Babel. If one of the monsters in grave, if you have Skeleton and Nightmare, which you typically do in the graveyard, what'll happen, and you'll search Halfness as part of your combo. Snow, Gizmic are usually in your grave. Your grave is usually loaded, just loaded to the brim with just crazy stuff because of like Milangoki poles and Beast and danger effects, even King of the Swamp in some cases. So your graveyard's loaded, right? So your opponent, and then if you have the trap in Kaleido Heart, it's an additional interruption. So we won't include just the Babel interruptions, but you could go, your opponent, let's say summon Nimble Beaver, right? You chain, you'll mill 3, Beaver triggers, summons the guy, Bomber triggers, nukes all the dudes. Okay, your opponent has Splice Starter. You chain the Splice Starter with like Snow, so you just banish 7 for Snow. You do that. They take the damage, the stuff triggers, bomber triggers again, nukes the board. Now, what you will do is, and you just, the Babel interaction is the actual last interaction, because what you can do is just continue to use snow, and then that's just setting them, what they don't know is just setting them up for lethal on the follow-up turn. Because, let's say the 2 interruptions were enough, right? Let's say just these 2 were enough. In phase, you can use the Babel and banish the skeleton and bring the Galatea from the graveyard back. And then also trigger Gizmic Orochi, banish 8 more cards, and summon this back. Again, you want to make sure they're away, like far, far away from the bomber, right? And then you just turn Bomber, Galatea, and Gizmek. You turn those into Zeroboros. And it literally like wraps your opponent up, because you've banished 8 from Gizmic, 7, at least 7 from Snow, plus the Orcust banishes. And then if you want to play around, like, you don't have to be greedy, play around. If you just enter battle, right, and you go declare the attack, in a declaration you can chain Gizmek, and then let's say your opponent like has Crow, which is fine, you just want to banish the cards, and then you could chain Snow. And then if your graveyard is big enough, you could chain Snow again. So you can banish 8, 15, up to that 23 cards from your graveyard if you still have that many left. And Zeroboros goes up astronomically. So, like, I wasn't having, like, any problems as far as the combo goes. The only thing, like I said, is, like, the extra deck is so tight. As far as, like, cards that you can do things with. So like Winda never came up, right? So in this list, maybe in a pure fusion list, you play more, but you can't play multiple kick Kalos. The only cards you can really consider is like Splight Elf, and that's just because Elf can bring back Galatea during your opponent's turn and make the crescendos live again. So you can bring it back, you can set crescendo, and then link this off into a Splight Elf. Or you can link this off into a Splight Elf, then activate your Orcust effect. There's so many ways this happens. Girsu by itself is essentially combo. You could also substitute it for like Link Karibo if you just want to like go for Curious. But like there's one slot, and this is the window, where I would consider something different. Even against like other combo spam decks, you just have more gas. You have more gas than other tier lists, because you don't lose the D barrier. A lot of people sided in D barrier versus me, and it didn't do anything because I still just ended on the Orcust bomber combo, and then I didn't make these cards until their turn, right? So D barrier doesn't hurt this deck. Time Thief is more broken in this deck. So and I guess I can go through a couple of the rounds because I can't remember everybody I played. So I played Despia round 1. That's where I got that draw. The follow-up was Flunderies, and my hands were just cracked, so I was able to break the board twice and get that 2-0. I played against... I don't remember what else I played against. I just know the last round was against Marensis, and I won that 2-0. So the deck itself is crazy because the deck is just Orcust with tier cards. So Orcust lost a lot of consistency without Heart. And then I'm gonna close this video out. But Orcust lost a lot of consistency without Heart. So it was always harder to get to those 1 or 2 steps in your combo, where you can make cards that allowed you to break boards or make a board that mattered. These 2 cards are the OTK and the Heart and Soul of like the deck as a whole. And then the fusion cards like Guardian Chimera let you fuse dead Orcust cards out of your hand. So there's been games where I've had like Bombard, Girsu, Nightmare, and I had World Wand. And then because I was able to King of the Swamp, search Poly, fuse the Gear Suit that was negated by Imperm, plus 2 cards out of my hand, make Chimera, draw 2 cards, pop a card on the field, and your opponent really just can't do anything. And then if you add a tier monster into that, you can actually make Guardian Chimera. You can make Guardian Chimera, and then you can actually turn him straight into a Draco Stapeli after you resolve his effect, which is crazy. Just making sure I wasn't cheating anybody, but I wasn't. It can be used as fusion material, so it's pretty nice. You can't make this with the tier effect. Well, you can technically make it with the tier effects, but if you make it with tier effects, your opponent, it doesn't get any effects. It's just a big dude. But because you're able to recycle, these cards are kind of crazy, right? So I tried the punk list, and the problem with the punk list is that the punks are earths. Xiaomin's earth, the other guy's water, so they don't have real synergy with it just to make Chaos Ruler. If you just wanted to make a Chaos Ruler route, like if you want to make some room, you can just play a Rocket Engine, or you can play E-Telly into the other engine. But this has more natural synergy with Orcust, and because it has that natural synergy, there's really no real downside. Like I said, Winda, it definitely Winda. I keep harking on Winda, but Winda was a bad decision for me just off top, because Winda limits my level of gameplay. Even with the field spell making it 27, you can just put better cards in your deck and just OTK. Like I was OTKing people because you have to pick interruptions, right? So most people want to stop Curious, so they'll let you combo to a point, and then they'll just Imperm Curious and go, oh, okay, that's enough. Well, Curious is just a stepping stone to Bomber, and them letting us get to this many steps has already put them at a deficit. And then they'll hit Kit Kalos, and if they hit Kit Kalos, that's fine, because then Kit Kalos is just a dark monster for Curious. So we can just make Curious through instant fusion, and you still get there. So there's so many, and then you have dangers. The deck compounds on itself, and there's just so many things you can do. Also, if you're just worried about it, you can replace this with Millennium Ice Restrict. I hadn't tested that, but this video is a little longer because I'm posting in the Orcust group, and I know that people are going to have some questions. Why 60 cards? Because 60 cards is just the best number. Why not 3 Gearsu? I found I was drawing 3 Gearsu too much. We don't want to play Mech Knights. Even if we make this deck blind seconds, we don't play enough spell or trap cards to support Mech Knights. We're cutting Dynamiscus. The side deck will change some stuff, maybe throw some trap tricks or something in there. But I hope that more people will try this list out. There are other lists you can play, but I think for me, in my testing through Tier Branded, this is also the safest list from the ban list, and we may even get a buff if they give us Harpora back. So it's your boy VE to the double OE signing out.